What is up, everybody? We are live post game after the Vikings Chargers game. And oof, that was brutal. Vikings fall to the Chargers 28-24 at US Bank Stadium, week 3. And the Vikings go to 0-3. I'm joined today by Marlo, one of our ever so personalities. He does everything at 10K. The nitty-gritty, wild takes, the memes, the merch, the everything. Marlo, thank you for hopping on with me, brother.
I wish we could have. I really wish we could have. I could have came on the show, made my debut on the show after a win, one that we thought was going to be a shootout, and we saw that it truly was a shootout, but not one that really had us feeling too great. So being here, I don't even know. I'm not hard. I'm medium soft. Things aren't looking good for us, and I don't know where we go from here. As Vikings fans, I don't know where we go from here as the Vikings. There's the talks of, do we do a rebuild? Do we look at, there's a lot of dunce caps out there, as I like to call them, a lot of big, stupid idiots, as maybe my toddler would say, that are blaming Kirk for all of this nonsense. And do we talk about the end of the game, right? We talk about the fact that we didn't spike the ball. Do we talk about, I think we got to dive in right there, right? That's just kind of where we got to start, is we got to talk about the fact that we blew off. I think they said I saw 20 seconds pretty continuously. I don't know if it was actually 20 seconds that we blew through while we didn't spike the ball in there and just set up a play. I don't know if you saw the exact number.
Yeah, so I went back and checked it. So basically Hawkinson got down with like 37, 36 seconds left. So if you walk it up, you're going to spike it. You can probably get that down. So, 31, 32 seconds and have 3 plays, 3 shots for the end zone. Instead, what we proceed to do is plod and waste time, get a snap off with 11 seconds left, and then it's not a good look.
What I can't grasp is it's not like we had a shit ton of momentum going into it. Like, so it wasn't like, oh, they're tired, let's keep it going, let's push this one in. And it wasn't like it was a 1 yard play or whatever. We're like, oh, let's do a quick sneak or whatever. But even then, you're still going to spike the ball. I don't get that. So I understand the people that are like, Kirk has to be smarter than that to get up there, spike the ball, so we can set up to run additional plays. I get that aspect of it. But from what we know about Kirk Cousins, I don't even want to insult him. That's like the shit part about this, is I really don't want to be an asshole towards Kirk. I don't.
Right.
I'm a Kirk believer. I like him as a quarterback. I think he's fantastic. So it sucks for me to say that he has to be like, fuck you guys, I'm spiking this thing. I'm getting up to the line. We're doing this. Like, it just kind of override the coach, ask for forgiveness instead of permission, especially when you're fighting in an offense. You're fighting against the crowd noise off of that play. It's like, everyone in there's going nuts. We're going to win this game. It's going to be fucking awesome. And instead, you try to force plays through the headset where he can't even fucking hear you. And I don't know. It sucks. It's not Kirk's fault. I'm mad. I'm pissed off. And I don't know where to direct my anger at. So just like any other Midwestern drunk husband, I'm probably going to take it out on my wife or kids later. This is your
don't
fault.
Do that.
You did this.
You and every other man in Minnesota that can't control their anger, then we need to get no, I'm just kidding. But I think part of that too is like sometimes when things like aren't perfect for Kirk, he gets scatterbrained with it, and that just kind of makes the wheels spin maybe more than it should. Like, hey buddy, we got what we needed, just settle down, let's move on to the next thing, let's win the next moment. And I just feel like in that situation they were trying to go too quick. Like, You don't need to rush the pace. You've got plenty of time. It's not like we were, because where did we get that was at like the 7 yard line when we caught that
Something
ball.
like that,
it's not like we're like past the 10 or past the 15 and we have to like get more plays in to get closer. You're right there. You can do anything you want.
Well, I think the shit thing about this as well, too, like, just to be straight up honest about it, like, obviously we can't hang onto the ball. That's a massive, massive fat issue that we can just go on for probably an hour about. But I think the big issue in this one is we don't have – Madison looked better today. I'm going to say this first and foremost, but we don't have an established run game, which means we have to rely on the pass game on a continuous basis, which sounds fun if you're playing Madden. You could just do the slants and just hit the guy down the center of the field where like they just can't cover. There's no thing for that. But that's not real life. It doesn't work that way. We have all these targets who are taking these hard shots as well too. But if they're expecting a pass every single play, because I know that Madison's, he hit his first 10-yard run. Not even his. We hit our first 10-yard run early in this game. That's crazy. I can't get around. I can't understand that. Kirk's not a mobile quarterback, so it's not like you got Justin Fields back there who can just zip around, even though he looks like dog shit right now too. That's the only thing that's kind of making me happy. Is the rest of the NFC North is kind of a little suspect. But it's not going to help when you're 0-3. It doesn't matter. We don't even, and our schedule doesn't get much easier after this as well too. But I don't know. I don't know what the fuck we have to do. I don't want to go through a rebuild, especially when you have to pay JJ right now, right? I don't want to do that. He's just gonna go. He's just say fuck it and bail. It's the Paul Rudd line from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's like when life hands you lemons, you say fuck the lemons and bail. That's what I feel like JJ may just do if this continues.
It just seems like every week we are getting closer and closer to losing him. I don't want to be that guy, but to make the playoffs and losing the wild card round in the first 3 years that you've been in the league, I mean, you can throw out the Zimmer years. That's fine. And last year with KOC2, it's year 1. But year 2 is not looked very good so far.
Mm-mm.
All the games that we were winning last year by 1 score, we are now losing. The play calling has gotten better, but it's gotten worse.
It's tough because the checkdowns continue to happen, and so it's hard. Play calling has probably gotten better, but if we continue, which once again sounds like I'm shitting on Kirk again, and I feel terrible about it because I don't think he's a bad quarterback. He has the stats to back him up, but if we're just going to continue to check down, it doesn't fucking matter what the plays are going to be. It's I don't know. I'd rather make big nuts plays than lose like we do, if that makes sense. I don't know how you feel about it. I want to go out there just big nuts swinging, just fucking hucking that pigskin. But once again, we don't have a run established, so we can't do that because they just run a cover zone defense and just fucking screw us. I don't know.
I do too. I think the offensive line is a big problem, and we can get into it. Let me read the stats here quick, just to set the table for us here for our viewers joining us. The Vikings fall to the Chargers 28-24 at US Bank Stadium. I'm going to hit it with both sides just because both sides shit did happen. So we'll start with the Vikings, 32 of 50 for Kirk Cousins, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, the interception at the end by Kenneth Murray to put the dagger in, 4 sacks on the day. And, I mean, it should have been worse. It should have been way worse than that. As you said, Madison got it going, 4.7 a pop, 93 yards, 20 carries. That's what you like to see, especially now that you got Cam Akers coming in, breathing down his neck. Some good stuff there. JJ, he just does it. 7 catches, 149, a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, 8 catches, 78 yards. Jordan Addison, 6 catches, 52 yards. Mind you, all of that was in the second half for Jordan Addison. It took them 2 quarters for them to get their first-round pick going. And that's just the thing. Like, Madison, 5 catches, 32 yards. It's the checkdowns and the first reads to KJ. Listen, I don't want to be a KJ hater, and I'm not saying that he's not talented, but the targets that he's getting for the amount of talent that he has, it just doesn't add up. Like those should be going to Addison. I don't know. I don't really want to be a hater because it sounds like I'm being a hater. But like when KJ's the first read, when KJ's getting a bunch of these targets, it's just not going to work.
Well, and you know what stinks about this entire thing is my whole point earlier was about that, like, we don't have an established run game, so we can't make things happen, right? Like, we just can't do it. But then you look at the Chargers running stats today and just completely, I think they totaled like 30 yards rushing total on the entire game, if I'm not mistaken. Just
correct.
Crazy. Just you know what sucks about this is Justin Herbert isn't, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get Seward for this. Justin Herbert isn't that great of a quarterback, but games like this are where you're like, he's a top 5 quarterback. The reason that he has those I guess hype moments by everybody else in the NHL or NFL. I'm sorry, hockey guy. NFL. The reason that this happens is because of games like this. The Vikings love to make Daniel Jones look like a stud, and we see this year he's trash. Daniel Jones is the worst quarterback I've ever seen. We just love making everybody look good. Jordan Love, Hall of Fame quarterback. As soon as we play them, wouldn't surprise me. Justin Fields, same thing. He's going to be, and then he's going to run for 270 yards, but only throw for like 30, and we'll be like, oh, it's because we don't have. Whatever. It's tough because we can point. We can just keep doing this. The Spider-Man meme where everyone's around like it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. But what we came to find out is that this team just, for lack of a better term, stinks. It just stinks.
Yeah. It's not good. I had optimism going into the year just because I didn't really know what to expect. It's not looking good so far. It just doesn't. The cohesiveness on both sides of the ball is not there. Let me touch on the Charger stats here quick before. Justin Herbert. 40 of 47, 405, 3 touchdowns. Again, if someone were to read that stat line, they'd be like, wow, he really did it today. But like, I don't know. He made some good throws and he looked frustrated at times. I don't know. I mean, this is professional football. It's going to be a good game on both sides. I'm starting to come around that maybe he's not as good as we all think he is. But on the same side, he has a crazy arm talent, so I don't really know what to expect. Keenan Allen, 1 throw, 49 yards, 1 touchdown. That Mike Williams bomb, crazy. 30 yards rushing combined for the Chargers. Here's what gets me. Keenan Allen, if you had him in your fantasy in anything, you probably want some money, 18 receptions, 215 yards for Keenan Allen. Mike Williams, 7 catches, 121, and a touchdown. When you've got guys like that, you just can't defend with our secondary. I've said this over and over again, I said it right away. I'm so scared for the secondary. And it only is going to get worse with having to face Travis Kelce and Devontae Adams down the road. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown twice and DJ Moore. If they can be relevant at all, like this is not good at all what this defense is doing.
Well, just to play like I don't even know if devil's advocate is the right term for this one here, but if you look at the Chargers as well, and that's why you saw the line similar to what it was prior to the game. You were looking at it was a payout of like minus 101 versus like plus 1, or I think at one point both were minus 110 on the money line. The spread was like 1.5, and it was just like barely 1.5. The difference between these two teams isn't a whole lot. You look at the Chargers, they have massive offensive weapons. Everett is an absolute stud. They beat us without Mike Williams at the end of that game as well, too. They have that, I think I'm going to get this name wrong. I think it's Jalen Carter, something Carter. Either way, besides the point. But they have, I mean, you have all of these stud, like, receiving core on the back end, but they have Eckler. They, of course, didn't have any of that stuff today, but there were so many similarities between, but they're able to get over the hump, which is the crazy thing. And it all comes down to turnovers. If you look at the big picture, I know this sounds like we're just kind of hammering home the same point over and over and over again. But if we hang on to the ball for any of these instances, you give up 30% of the fumbles that were, or even like turnovers that we've already had, we probably have a winning record, just to be entirely honest with you. It's there's no two ways around it. Like we can, like it's the same thing we talked about. You can Spider-Man, you can point, boom, 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 your fault. If we hang out of the ball, changes things, makes things. Like I said, they wouldn't have a touchdown if it didn't bounce off of, what was it, Boyd's helmet?
Caleb Evans. Oh my God.
Evans, thank you. If it doesn't bounce off his helmet going through his hands into the other guy's hands, if Evans even like has enough of a grip of that to come down and drop the ball, the game changes probably. It's a series of bad luck. It's truly Minnesotan of us to be in a position like this where we have our quarterback just balling out like he normally would, but then we lose because of dumb shit over and over and over again. And I'm tired and I'm sick of it, Jay. It sucks.
I'm sick of it too, man. I mean, the game was basically bookended by turnovers. On that first drive, you had TJ Hawkinson just get stripped. Just not a punch out, just gets stood up and gets the ball ripped away. And then at the end, you get the interception. And by the way, we're still not taking over the ball at all. Like, no takeaways. Like, what are we doing? Like, you need to win this turnover battle and not turn it over. And we're just, what is it? We're -8, -9 in the year, 9 turnovers on the year. That just can't happen. You can't win football games when you're giving it away like that.
No, it is 6. Where do you stand? I'm gonna just be a little asshole here for 2 seconds. Where do you stand on the trade Kirk Cousins and just go for the tank bit? Where do you stand on that?
I mean,
at this point, like maybe before this game, I imagine knowing you're probably like, no, that's stupid. I hate that. I don't like that. That's dumb to give up this early when we have to pay JJ. But now we're in a situation where we still have to pay JJ, by the way. And we are looking at a complete loss of a season. Now, where do you stand on potentially trading away Kirk and getting as many assets as we potentially can get?
I mean, from the business side of it, it doesn't look bad at this point. I mean, you're in an 0-3 hole. You have a valuable asset in Kirk Cousins, who, if you don't do something with on your end, you're going to lose him for free.
Yep.
And at this point, he's balling out to the point that we're not even going to be able to keep him as is, even if we turn it around and blah blah blah, and we want to, okay, you know what, we think we're gonna see this thing through with you, and we'll try and like the price has gone up for both of them now, Kirk Cousins and JJ. So I think at this point you might have to look into it. Honestly, for me, I mean, it would be really tough to sit through a season where we just kind of, threw in the towel. And I don't know. I mean, from a business standpoint, I totally get it. From a football standpoint, it would be so hard to watch. And a season like to go through a season like that would, because then who do you roll with? Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins, like.
Mm-hmm. Unless you get a quarterback piece back, like we talked about with the Jets aspect. I mean, everybody talks about the Jets.
Zach Wilson. I don't want his ass. He's trash.
But more serviceable, in my opinion, over Hall or Mullins for that matter.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, maybe the kid just needs to get out of New York where he's getting bullied to shit, come to Minnesota, freeze him up a little bit, get him some weapons. I mean, Justin Jefferson is way better than Garrett Wilson.
That purple headband with that blonde hair might not look too bad.
Oh, I can see him out on Lake Minnetonka already. He would be wheeling and dealing.
Coming out here looking like a Ninja Turtle on the sidelines.
It's crazy. Ninja Turtle. Yes, he would look like I can see it already. But
now counterpoint to this as well too. We talked about that, right? Like you were talking about you, and I just wanted to like make sure we can clip this so you can get hate directed your way. That was the whole point of me setting you up for the trade Kirk Cousins bit. I just want Jake to come after you and just hammer you. I'm gonna cut off the part where like any logic was in it and only put the clickbait parts. But here's
take all context out of it. Thank you.
Well, where do you feel I'll stand on JJ? You can get an arm and a leg. I mean, you can get a full body. I mean, you get pieces. You can get pieces. You could build a whole offensive line just off of JJ.
I mean, it would have to be like a ransom of guys that in the future that are studs. Like we need 2 first-round picks and 2 starting. If you can find 2 first-round picks from a team that's going to be in the top half or the top 20 picks, and a starting offensive player and a starting defensive player, maybe that's it. And again, I'm thinking business, but to lose JJ, I would cry. I would honestly sob.
No, these are one of those players you hold on tight to like a teddy bear, and you're a toddler, and you don't want to let that go. That's you can't live life without it. You don't want to go to bed without JJ. You don't want to go to a mall without JJ. You don't want to go to your Gram's house without JJ.
Is it crazy
I am holding on to that bear.
To even like, you're gonna make me look like a big huge bitch.
Clipping it
for me even thinking about that. I don't know. It's just like, where do we go from here? I'm not saying sell the team. I'm not that type of person, though. That's the thing. Y'all got to understand, I'm not that type of person. I'm not. Like, I'll sit here and watch them throw it to KJ Osborne and freaking Laquan Treadwell and Sammy Watkins if that's who they had. But, like, I don't know. Like,
I think the right way to word this, like, I think the only way to come out of this game with a positive spin, right? And I'm going to probably eat my words. You never know what could happen. The Kansas City Chiefs are up 14-0. At least we're not the Bears. That is the only thing that I can say and just feel good about. Like, that's the only thing that's going to get me up out of this chair and maybe step outside of my house instead of laying in my bed and just crying into my nice 10,000 takes JJ gritty hoodie.
So
I'm gonna cry my eyes out into it. But I don't know. That's the only. As legitimately, if I had to put a positive spin on it, at least we're not the Bears. That's it. And it stinks because we're probably gonna lose to the Bears, but at some point. But I don't know, man. It's been a tough sledding. It's been a really rough year, but at least we have prize picks. Underdog. Damn it. Because you got yourself a fat little winner off of Underdog, didn't you, today?
I did get myself a fat little winner off Underdog. I did. Let me tell you about my friends at Underdog, man, because they do some great stuff for us. They really do some great stuff for us. I cannot thank them enough for them being a part of the train. Underdog Fantasy. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get some action on sports. It's Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. Just pick higher or lower on your favorite or least favorite player stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. Underdog keeps it super simple with the easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Pick between 2 and 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and take home some money. Use the code 10K and get your first deposit doubled up to $100 by Underdog. I mean, we have been cleaning up on everything. Last week on the Thursday night play, hit. if anyone was listening to the pregame show, me, Jack, and Jake, we hit on that 49ers Giants game. Now this week, my big brain came up with the 4-man, and we whacked them again.
Love it.
And
love it.
And you did mention the competitor. I did whack on there too. So we're up a mil. You know what? At least we can. I'm like Scrooge McDuck. That meme of Scrooge McDuck where he's like in all the money. Like at least the Vikings are on 3, but at least I made somebody.
Yeah, if you're not playing along, if you're not on Underdog, you're not using our promo code and trying to win a little bit of money off this Viking season, you're probably in the deepest pit of sorrow. You're on the woe for Williams train where you want to get yourself a new quarterback. But at least with our standpoint, we're both winning money. I took Herbert over on the yardage as well too, so I ended up pocketing it home a little bit. I paired it up with Tyreek Hill, I think like over on yardage money. Or whatever. Lock. So make sure you get over there. Make sure you play this sport. Use code 10K, get yourself some money. It's definitely worthwhile to help drown out your Viking sorrows. So,
I mean, the deposit match, just off that itself, like why would you not try? You can throw in $10. You don't have to throw in a bunch. No one's saying you got to be high roller. Just try and make yourself some money.
Exactly.
Try and make yourself some money. I mean, so Panthers next week, 0-3. I mean, what can we take from this game that's positive? The run game got going.
Yes.
Help is on the way with Dalton Risner and Cam Akers. So at least we can finally find that balance and hopefully flip the time of possession. Because the time of possession this week had to be equal. Let me try and see if I can find that. But
while you find that, I was going to say, Age, you're a betting man and whatnot as well too. This feels like a trap game. Where do you think the odds are going to sit? For like Vikings versus Panthers, because of the Panthers situation, I feel like it's going to be like a Vikings like -110 situation, right? Like they're still going to be the favorite, only because it's the Panthers, right? AJ Thielen revenge game, though, that's one to keep your eyes peeled for. They can't seem to get him the ball, so I don't think it really matters. But I still think the Vikings are going to go in as a favorite, and it feels like a trap game. Feels like one where I'm going to want to put money on it, but I'm going to hate myself for doing it.
Here's the thing. I don't think we can really make a call because Andy Dalton is in there today. I don't really know how that game's going. I checked Adam Thielen. He's moving a little bit with Andy Dalton as the quarterback. So, hey, that offense is not bad. They're serviceable. I mean, that line might be towards their favor. I don't even know. The Vikings, we couldn't be favored by any more than 2, right?
No shot. If we aren't the minus money aspect in this one, I'm going to feel terrible for the rest of my week. And that's going to sting.
Okay, so to pull it up here, time of possession was actually in the Vikings' favor, 33 minutes to almost 27 for the Chargers. So you had 6 more minutes of time.
Yeah.
But, passing first downs, they're 22 to our 15. We got more first downs in general, actually.
Well, I would say to be fair, like at least 20 seconds of that was us just wasting time trying to get up to the line to run a play to end.
Okay, Marlo got disconnected there. It's Sunday. Internet. My internet gets cooked on Sundays. Honestly, my internet gets cooked on Sundays. So I don't blame them one bit. Man, that's tough. That is tough.
Are we back?
I think we're back.
All right. Sorry about that. Crash. Now we're back.
No, my internet. I was saying my internet gets cooked on Sundays. I don't know how that's the first time that's happened to me. I don't even know.
Nothing like 5 minutes of dead time. I think this is a good transition to going to Skol or Skunk, right? Like we can hammer on the Vikings. We can talk about how junk they are. But the Thursday show, by the way, anybody that's tuning in, anybody that's watching live Thursday show, we do a little bit of a pregame thing. We talk about the upcoming game. We'll get a little bit more analytical with that one. The only analytics we can really give is just how shit this team is and how we are not on the right path. I don't know if we want to dive into our next bit here.
Yeah, you know what? I think we talked enough. We laid it all out there. There's some things that we can build off, but it just doesn't look good right now. So we'll move into Skol or Skunk. And my first topic, I feel like every time I do Skol or Skunk, I feel like majority of it is food. And I don't know if that's just because my fat ass can't think of anything else.
My fat ass
there's
is ready.
a lot. There's a lot of things in the food world that are controversial. I feel like for people, you either love them or hate them. So I read Vishu's blog about chopped cheese. I had to go make myself some chopped cheese. So I did it like a couple of different ways. Made one the other night with like a tortilla instead, because I snapped a tortilla from work. I was like, I don't want to go buy bread.
Yeah.
And it was great. But I want your thoughts on mustard, yellow mustard.
Yeah.
Skol or Skunk.
You know what's a good thing about this is that this wasn't planned at all, right? That you were going to talk about food. I am the exclusive cooker in my house. Like I make everything.
Hell yeah.
And I genuinely love it. Mustard is great with just about everything. It's Skol for me. It's 100% Skol. And the only reason why I say this, I will eat because there's so much variations to it. Spicy brown mustard fucking slaps. I'm all about that stuff. Even like hot dogs. I'm gonna get hate for this. I am a firm believer that the Chicago dog is the greatest dog that you could ever have. There's nothing that tops a Chicago dog. It is the best. And they have the firm belief that you don't put ketchup on that bullshit. Why? Because it's just sugary tomatoes. And I agree with that. Mustard slaps. I'm in it all day. Skol.
Yeah. I love mustard. 100% in. I love it on hot dogs. I love it on burgers. I love Dijon mustard. Me being the Jimmy John's guy that I am, I put that on like half of my sandwiches that I get. We're close to 75%. I mean, mustard is just, you can't go wrong. It's definitely an acquired taste. I don't know if I liked it the first couple times I had it, but the combination of ketchup with the meat that you have it on, it's just, you need that acidity, and mustard just brings it.
It works great as like a prepper if you're doing like a ribs or whatever as well too. Smoking any sort of meat, you throw it on there, get that. Oh, it's perfect. Like
a great binder.
If you don't like mustard, you're a fucking toddler. Hammer that one. You're a toddler.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I was going to tweet that out, but I was like, let me not call out people.
No, fuck that. Yeah, I'm all for it. Call them out.
And then my other one here that I have on the list, still food related, but we're moving to a drink, twisted tea. Now, I'm not a tea person. I skunk tea. No
way. I don't know.
Crazy on calories.
I'm still alive. Oh, you're back. Okay, I froze there. I don't know how much of that we got.
I think we flipped out. I don't know what's going on, but twisted tea, Skol or Skunking. I had it for the first time this summer, and I liked it. So.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah. Okay. Twisted tea. I want to say real quick, when we have a studio that 10,000 Takes is moving into, we won't have this issue anymore. And I'm so excited for that. Everything's going to be in person. You'll get more chemistry. You'll get more unfiltered Minnesota Vikings takes from our watch studio, by the way. I don't know if you know this, Age. We're going to have 2 couches, 2 TVs, football on all the time. Sundays are going to be there. It's going to be sick. And we're going to have a slew of content coming out of that. We move into it in a week and a half, about a week and a half here. So be prepared for that stuff. I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Anyways, Twisted Tea, Rib, I want to hear more. Go.
Yeah, I said I had it for the first time this summer during like co-ed softball. And I was like, okay, I could get down with that. I mean, it's got that, the decent taste of alcohol in there. It tastes like tea, but it's not a crazy, and you can get flavors. So I'm going to not skunk it. I'm going to Skol it, but it's like a light Skol.
Okay.
Just for the alcohol aspect.
I'm going to be honest. This might come as a surprise to you. But I am a weed guy. No surprise. Anybody that's ever watched content from me knows that I'm like stoned for 98% of it as well too. I've never had twisted tea. I'm not much of a booze guy, to be entirely honest with you, solely because I'm stoned about like 90% of my day. Unless I'm like working my literal day job. That's like the only time I'm never stoned. But outside of that, if you catch me having a beer or a drink, it's pretty rare. So I'm gonna skunk it only because I just not my thing. Because I'm usually ingesting 60 milligrams of THC every single day of my life. So
you know what? I don't hate that answer at all. I'm definitely more of a weed guy myself, but I'd like to mix in brews here and there. So, you know, something like that. I feel like got to throw. I don't know. Sometimes people just aren't into that stuff, and that's totally fine.
yeah,
But like, I don't know if I could do like the THC, the drinks. Like,
they're good.
You like
they're
them?
So good. Yeah. Which, by the way, you should check out one of our other sponsors as well too, Cultivated CBD. They have just released some of their THC beverages as well too that are out there on the market. 10 milligrams per can as well too. They're unbelievable. On top of that too, I don't want to be the guy who breaks news or whatever, but we might be working with a company that we're not going to come out with this ourselves. We're working with a company that's going to come out with their own THC seltzers as well, and they're going to be fucking bomb. I've already had a couple samples of them, and they're really, really good.
Amazing.
Elm Creek Brewing. But that's besides the point. I don't want no spoilers. We don't talk about this stuff. Keep going.
Keep talking about what?
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I mean, I might have to give those a try. I'm not like edibles. They just don't work on me. I have like, I don't know if it's like I have a gut or metabolism of steel or both. It doesn't make any sense. But like,
well, that's a good thing about it as well too. Is Cultivated CBD actually has the gummies as well. This feels like a sick ad read that we're just like ripping off our Cultivated
that we just
CBD.
went into by accident.
I think that's the only reason that I came in this episode not as fired up as I probably would be or should be, because I'm crushing edibles throughout the day as well too. Literally took one of the green apple Cultivated CBD gummies as well too, the THC ones, just to be for clarity's sake, and it helped make that game manageable for me. Like, my emotions were under control. I didn't throw a fist through the TV. I didn't, like I said, I didn't scream at anybody, even though I wanted to. And I didn't do what most Vikings fans, which is like attack women online on Twitter or whatever. So it's all because thanks to you, Cultivated CBD.
You know what? I kind of just put that together in my mind. Ever since I started incorporating some of that stuff into the mix while I watched the game, I'm a lot more calm. Like during games, I used to be like jumbled stomach, like I got to stand up, I got to walk around, like my stomach felt like it was doing jumping jacks. Like I don't really feel like that anymore. Like the Bills game last year, I got that feeling in my stomach again just because that game was fucking nuts.
Wild.
But I don't know. You gotta throw some of that stuff in the mix. So Cultivated CBD, check them out. Well, I think that's going to throw a wrap on the show. We went on long enough. We said our stuff. We made our money. We put our picks out. Don't forget us to join us live on Thursday, probably around 6 or 7 p.m. in that time frame. We're going to break down Vikings-Panthers. We'll see what the line looks like. We'll see what the spread looks like, and we'll go from there. As stated, Skol, my name is AJ Murphy. Marlo, thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate you. Signing off, guys. Thank you for watching.
Skol.